All right, welcome back to What She Said Sports, everybody. Okay, welcome. I have a good show planned for you. I was evaluating a post, and I wanted it to be the feel good story, but I think they were making fun of somebody, so I axed it. I said I don't want to be caught up in making fun of people. Apparently, the post was about Shedeur Sanders' song "Perfect Timing" has just kind of taken off again, and somebody was singing it and I couldn't tell like what was really happening, so I didn't share it. But if you see it, that's the one. It will be unmistakable. That's the one. So shout out to Shedeur Sanders making money all over the place. Jerseys, his song is climbing back up to the top of streams, and fans are thrilled. Fans are excited. Bettors are out here betting that Shedeur Sanders could make a late run for offensive player of the year, or maybe some kind of rookie of the year award or something like that. And people are betting money on that and betting $5 and somehow turning it into $2,000. So people are out here betting that Shedeur is going to have 3 passing touchdowns. This is going to be the most watched game. Vegas says that the Raiders will win, but people believe that Shedeur is going to win. One of the reasons people are saying that Shedeur won't win is because the other quarterbacks before him didn't win when they were a backup going to a starter. I'm like, what does that have to do with Shedeur, right? Just because Jimmy down the street somewhere didn't do it doesn't mean Shedeur can't do it, right? So shout out to Shedeur Sanders getting all the love. And it's good, right? Look at God, because look at what this weekend was turbulent for him, right? To put his hand in his head. And people tried to criticize him for having emotions. What's wrong with putting your hand in your head when you feel exasperated, when you try to do everything you can, and you keep seeing the same thing happen over and over and over, right? And we were just celebrating before the show started that what happened at Shedeur's house didn't touch him because he physically was not there. Like he said, I'm fine. My house was robbed, but I'm good. And then the part about them not getting his jewelry made people celebrate, right? Jeremiah 29:11, right? I'm not trying to hurt you because they didn't take, the jewelry. But I am trying to put you on game that these folks are targeting you so you can learn how to protect yourself. And to me, that was the moral of the entire incident, right? And I said to myself, what if those kids had on those Balenciaga shoes? Because maybe they were rich kids. And like the other rich kid who went in his father's laptop, what if this series of rich kid belongs to somebody that works at the Browns and they went into their parents' laptop and decided to get Shedeur's address and somehow find the way into the house through the garage? I mean, it's just another theory. Feel free to comment on it. But it could be, right? Because isn't that what happened last time? The point of that being, it's still an inside job. The whole point of that, it's still an inside job. All right. So Shedeur Sanders we have watched this young man be a legend at Colorado, get to the NFL, and they just totally dismissed him. And y'all know what happened at the draft. I'm not going to repeat that. But he ended up 144 in Cleveland, headed to Cleveland. And it's like they did everything to hold him back. And it didn't work. He still ascended to QB1 despite the obstacles put before them. And shout out to y'all, hit me up about Cam Newton's show, talking about Kevin Stefanski and that he can't relate. He and Tommy Reese can't relate to Shedeur Sanders or cultured black players or quarterbacks. And seemingly, they're not interested in being relatable to or being able to relate. They'd rather dismiss Shedeur as a distraction because he's different from them and deny him an opportunity and hold that against him rather than be a head coach. And we've said it before on this podcast. Kevin Stefanski is not a head coach. He's not even doing a head coach's job, because if you are only successful, or not even successful, if you're only relatable to white quarterbacks, white running backs, you're racist. You're not a head coach. This is your job. This is your job, to block the black quarterbacks that we get over here. And again, somebody want to remind me that they had 3 black quarterbacks last year, and y'all know my response. Where are they now? somewhere devalued, underutilized, injured, reputation tracks, cut from the league. That's what they are. You had 3 or 4 black quarterbacks between 2022 and 2023 and 2024. And they all scattered and devalued, injured, cut from the league, waived from the league in Canada, at home, or QB4 on somebody else's depth chart, or the practice squad. You didn't develop none of them. Because your job was not to be their coach. Your job was to hold them back, to intentionally devalue them, ship them off, push them out the league, draft and destroy. That's what the job was. In this case, it's trade and destroy. And it's the same players you heard me mention over and over and over. So we're going to listen to Cam Newton basically say what I have been saying. But he played football, so I like the way he explained it, so we're going to listen to that. Shout out to Asante Samuel for holding it down on X. People still calling, how is it Shedeur getting so much talk, QB1, this, that, and the other. Asante Samuel, I made sure it was a count. It said, because he's not a 5th round QB. Duh. You know what that theory implies? If you live by that theory, that a 1st round skilled quarterback gets pushed to the 5th round, and that defines his skill set. If you live your life like that, it means that you believe the sky is orange because somebody told you it was. The sky is not orange, it's blue. Sometimes it's gray. It's not orange. And when you look out there and you see that it's blue, and somebody says, well, it's still orange, you just don't sit up there and believe that. That is manipulation 101. Weaponizing the rounds in the draft to hold back quarterbacks that want to succeed, that are mostly black, certain players. That's what that is. And for people to keep pushing that narrative, this is what's wrong with the NFL. All of the manipulation, all of the holding back and degradation of black NFL players is how many people in the NFL and many sports writers who are not black spend their time. You know what they've been trying to talk about? Why Shedeur won't be successful. Instead of looking at his career, looking at the fact that he was already successful, looking at the fact that he balled out despite the obstacles, all they do is sit around and plot on Shedeur. That's it. Because like Cam Newton said, they can't relate and they're not interested in relating to him. So they'd rather say, because we don't want to relate to him, push him down to 144, a deep discount. We'll get him for cheap. And we'll just let him waste away and rot on the bench, like Troy Aikman said. So many people have called it out and said that's what's happening. But people insist on labeling this kid because that is the goal. Let's get him in and label him a cast-off, a project, a red shirt. Who red shirts in the NFL? I didn't even know that was a thing. They can't relate to black quarterbacks because they don't want black quarterbacks. They want, as Cam said, the Case Keenum or the Joe Flacco. Remember when Shedeur and Flacco started communicating on the game, I guess like the practice field, and Shedeur was just asking him about a little dance, and he was like, I've never danced or something in my life or whatever. But then he caught himself after that because it didn't look good because he wasn't trying at the time. But over time, he got comfortable with Shedeur. Now, he's been in the league a long time. I watched him give Lamar Jackson a huge embrace when Cleveland played the Ravens when Flacco was here. So he knows black quarterbacks. But why was he standoffish with Shedeur at first? I'll tell you why. Because of the toxic culture that Kevin Stefanski was allowed to create and is praised and rewarded for by Haslam. All they do all day long is push out content to degrade Shedeur, to ignore his skill set, to justify the owners taking him off the board, pushing him to 155 and not playing him in Cleveland and not giving him first team reps with the offense. They can say he had first team reps with the defense, but the mere fact that they refused to give this young man first team reps with the offense should tell you what their goal was. And because they've been holding back Shedeur so long since the pre-draft process, since before the combine, we don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur. But they keep gravitating toward him, keep writing about it. Then he has the best-selling jersey. And they want to say he's a distraction. But they keep using him for clicks and likes. But that's his fault. Anything to put this young man in a bad light. But then when his house gets robbed, crickets. To me, that's the biggest tell of them all. So put a good show together. Let's get in here. And let's see where we're going to start. Hold on one second. We'll see where we're going to start. How's everybody doing? If you were with us earlier today, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Oh, I have a question for y'all. Name a backup quarterback that assumed the starting role and never and remained a QB1 from that first game when they became a starter. So in other words, take somebody that was like a QB2 like Shedeur, and then they become a starter like Shedeur, and they do well, and they remain the starter, and the starter became the backup. Name one quarterback that ascended to QB1 after being a QB2 and kept the role. Let me know. Okay, so Shedeur Sanders took snaps today. We have video of that. And oh yeah, it says Shedeur Sanders late offensive rookie of the year run. That's what it is they're talking about. So that's what it's called. Offensive rookie of the year. So people are betting on that already. Okay, I'm going to share my screen so y'all can see. So people are pointing out that, you know, the Raiders, this is going to be like the Super Bowl. Actually, the Super Bowl is Sunday. It's in Vegas versus the Browns on a very anticipated game. One of the reasons, in addition to watching Shedeur hopefully get the opportunity to ball out without his head coach sabotaging him or his offensive coordinator sabotaging him or his few of his O-linemen deciding to, you know, allow himself to be affected by hatred and choosing not to block for him. Don't act like it didn't happen, because it did. And it's documented, and people have watched it, and they came back and told me they saw it. It was so obvious, you didn't have to look for it. It was staring you right in your face. So people point out that the Raiders is where Tom Brady is, that's Shedeur Sanders' mentor. And the first thing they did was point out how many times the Raiders passed on Shedeur Sanders. I was like, wow. And mind you, this is probably as many times as all teams passed on Shedeur Sanders. But people really thought that Shedeur would go to the Raiders at number 6. And they decided to get Ashton Jeanty at number 2, but only allow him 6 or 7 carries thus far. So you really didn't want Ashton Jeanty. You just wanted to block that pick so you didn't have to justify. You didn't want to go, well, you know, I needed a running back, but you underutilizing the running back. So the pick wasn't about Ashton Jeanty. So Ashton Jeanty is learning what Cam Ward is learning. They will pay you first round money if you black to block another black person, especially a quarterback, and then treat you like you're a cast off. So they don't care about the money at that point. It's just to block Shedeur. And I said it before, a lot of people work hard to block Shedeur. And this is what I mean by these people have spent a lot of time plotting on Shedeur. So you should feel bad if you were one of the people that asked the question if this was an inside job by the Browns to rob Shedeur Sanders. Why? Because it was an inside job by the NFL and the New York Giants to humiliate him with his draft phone number that they thought was his real phone number. And they lied about that. So if it turns out to be somebody's kids and they parked their mama car down the street and somehow found their way in the house, and then they come back and be like, oh, this is so-and-so kids, right? What you think they're going to say? The same thing they said before, and it's probably going to be a lie. Right? So we don't know if we ever going to really get to the bottom of this, but stay tuned. The consensus is it's still an inside job. And there's probably going to be a lie to either push the investigation into just the distance and never talk about it, say they didn't find nobody because they don't want to tell the truth. Very possible. So as you can see here, the Raiders passed on Shedeur at pick 6. That was the first round. Passed on Shedeur at pick 58, 68, 98. Is that 98? 98, 99, 108, and 135. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. 7 rounds in the draft. I think it is 7 rounds. Passed on him 7 times. And at the bottom, it says he knows. In other words, that's fuel for Shedeur. And while today in his press conference, excellent disposition, people praised him for his media savvy, some of the stuff they were throwing at him. Yeah, he knows. He going to his mentor's house. I still have video from Tom Brady mentoring Shedeur. And it's just crazy that, Skip Bayless called him out. And he wanted to act like it wasn't up to him. But he out here with a headset on doing a live football game. And people like, you doing too much. You supposed to be a limited partner. Do you see Charles Woodson as much as you see Tom Brady? Aren't they both limited partners? So why do we see Tom Brady so much and we don't see Charles Woodson at all? So yeah, Shedeur knows that they passed on him. He wants to go out here and ball out. All I'm hearing today, some people don't think Judy can get it done and he's supposed to be the strongest receiver. I love how Shedeur spread the ball around. So I'm kind of not worried about that so much. I expect somebody to drop a pass, but I expect people to understand, Judy, to understand that Shedeur throws his receivers open. He should know that by the time we get to the game. Gage should understand by the time that ball comes his way, what you just gonna have to hit the ground. You can't, I notice a lot of these rookies don't anticipate somebody bullying them to strip the ball away. Remember how we started with Derrick Henry, and he's not a rookie. But I noticed with the rookies, I noticed it at Colorado with the younger kids. They don't anticipate people running them down or contesting them and intentionally knocking down the ball. They feel like they just got to hold the ball and it's safe. No, you got to protect it. You can hold it, but you got to protect it. And when you get ready to hit the ground, if you had that experience already, you're going to survive. When I watched Gage put his hand back, that was his instincts kicking in. His instincts were kicking in to protect himself. But next time, he got to choose the ball or lose the opportunity. That's what you signed up for, right? That's what it is. So yes, Shedeur knows they passed on him 7 times. I don't think he's a vengeful person, but Shedeur is a competitor, right? If you listen to any of those sideline conversations from Colorado, Shedeur is a competitor, and he gonna go out here and show out. And I heard somebody say it. I hope the line blocked for him. I'm like, I don't even know why we would have that conversation. Yeah, if you gotta say that out loud, you have a problem. Now, I'm convinced Shedeur knows how to overcome that, whether they know it or not. I don't feel like they went back and watched his Baylor film. I don't think they went and watched any of his Colorado film. But I believe he knows what time it is everywhere on that field and everybody that's supposed to be out there. So I think he can anticipate or maybe be escape. His escape ability, Coach Prime has said it, is pretty damn good. And that's true, right? That's one of his strengths. So that's that on the Raiders, the talk. I mean, everybody just really, sitting on the edge of their seats waiting for this game. It's amazing how the Raiders and the Browns are both 2-8, but this is going to be the most talked about game. A game that's 2-8 is about to be the most talked about game when both teams are 2-8. So, it's a battle for 3-8. I guess it's a battle for 3-8, right? So let's see. I have somehow found myself on I guess it's X, and it kind of startled me. Okay. All right, so let's get on to Cam. All right, so Cam Newton's 4th and 1 said A coach who won't even say the player's name doesn't want you to win. That's facts, right? And we pointed out Kevin Stefanski doesn't talk to Shedeur on the sideline. Somebody wrote it. See, you got to watch the way they write things. That they were praising Myles Garrett for his leadership because Shedeur and Stefanski weren't talking to each other. I said, don't put that on Shedeur. I said, fans have been calling out since rookie minicamp that Kevin Stefanski ignores Shedeur. And you know what's crazy? You think they would hold Kevin Stefanski accountable with their words. But now they want to blame Shedeur as if they're battling him. No. And then we have a clip of another player. I wish I knew that guy's name. Because I would love to know when he played for the Browns, the one that was on the clip with Manziel. I would love to know what year he played there to know if Stefanski was his head coach. Because he said, my coach won't talk to me. And he had to learn how to cope with that. And so did Shedeur. But what do they do, right? These so-called analysts or whatever. They push this narrative that Shedeur isn't a leader either because he's not talking to Stefanski. When they ignore the fact that Stefanski been ignoring Shedeur since the moment he got to Cleveland in front of everybody's face and made it obvious. This is why I said he should have already been fired. And understand, there are consequences to allowing racism to fester. Understand that. And they're going to wish it's going to be a regrettable situation. We wish we had gotten rid of him sooner. All right, so this is Cam.
You can't tell me a coach that doesn't even mention his player's name wants the best interest for his players.
These haters trying to hold me back.
You holding him back from his full potential. That was his first time having reps with the one. And the excuse was this. We're trying to prioritize reps for Dillon Gabriel. Did Dillon Gabriel get any reps when he was the number 2 guy behind the starter of Joe Flacco?
And did.
Oh, let it marinate. Coming up in this holiday, let your food marinate before you start cooking it.
Sources told me Dillon Gabriel was getting reps with the ones when he was the number 2 quarterback on the depth chart.
And the number three, when Dillon Gabriel was the number 3 quarterback behind Pickett and Flacco, he got first team reps. He was rewarded with first team reps with the offense and with the defense. So Cam is spot on, and I wish somebody would have let Cam know Dillon got first team reps when he was QB3. Not even next up, not even one play away from getting in the game. And they did all of this in front of Shedeur. And it was all to humiliate Shedeur. It was never about getting Dillon ready. They know Dillon undrafted free agent. He still ain't ready. He's still an undrafted free agent. And when he was losing, they were content with losing until they fans bucked them. And just let y'all lose like this. We're not showing up. We selling these tickets. And then they want to go and pivot to Shedeur. So you think they're going to do right by Shedeur? Because once again, they are forced when it comes to doing right by Shedeur? No. Not at all.
Highly questionable. How did we get to this point here?
May, June. He stated he's a great kid, working like crazy. I like everything about Shedeur. Training camp. Shedeur keeps the main thing.
Oh, he was saying his name then?
Yeah, he was saying it then. He was asked if he was considered playing Sanders. He said, that's not my focus.
At this point in time, Shedeur is the number 3 quarterback on the depth chart. So it's easy for him to deflect.
But see, here's the thing. Dillon got first team reps. He didn't deflect from Dillon. He prioritized Dillon getting reps. Wait till people find out that the only reason Pickett was on the roster was to make sure there were not enough reps for Shedeur. How many times did y'all hear people say Pickett should have been the one traded after mandatory camp? And they kept him all the way until training camp ended. And then when there no more reps to go around, they got rid of Pickett. Wait till they find out how sinister that plot was. Wait till they find that out. And they got Pickett first. And they knew he was injury prone when they got him. So wait till they find out that it is possible. Just like that break-in was an inside job and premeditated. So was Pickett coming to Cleveland to block Shedeur once they devalued him from $46 million to $4 million. They could pretend we weren't going to get him because we go by our draft board. But you sure traded up 2 picks in the same round to get him. And when you traded Pickett, you got one of those 5th round picks back. And then when you traded Flacco, you got the other 5th round pick back that you traded for Shedeur. So you already got back the currency you used to get Shedeur. And they say he's supposed to outproduce his draft stock. But Stefanski didn't even get him ready, which meant he wasn't going to outproduce his draft stock. That's what Andrew Berry thought, which meant they going against him, and he the damn GM. But he's black, so they don't respect him either. That's the lesson for him, and that's why you don't see him. That's why you haven't seen him. I don't care what he said. That's the reality. Because it doesn't feel good to find out you're being used, and they don't respect you either, especially when you plotted with them to get Shedeur for a deep discount. And they only discounted him because he's black, and they do not want to be relatable to a black quarterback who knows he's black. Let that sink in. So Cam, thank you for that. Cam did good. Y'all can go back and watch the rest of the clip. You know, I watched the long form video. He did a good job. And he just called it out for what it is. He ran down Kevin Stefanski's resume, and he pointed out and said, okay, here's the problem. He pointed out how when Kevin Stefanski was a coach in Minnesota, that was his only coaching gig, the only team he had coached with. And they let him move up, down, left, right, took him out of a position when Adrian Peterson was the running back, and kept putting him back with the quarterbacks. He's not good. He's the Nepo baby. And because he calls himself a faithful servant of the Cleveland Browns, and he's willing to degrade and devalue the black quarterbacks and hold them back and set them up and say they're injured when possibly they're not. Because players can't just put themselves in a situation like with Shedeur. Oh, he's still not ready yet. Shedeur said that wasn't his call. So that's fraud. That's the extremes they're willing to go through. And we were talking about how extreme is Kevin Stefanski willing to be to hold back Shedeur? And then his house got robbed. And then Stefanski said, Shedeur's ready now. So shout out to Cam for using his voice, and shout out to Asante Samuel, and more of these former NFL players need to come forward with this transparency. Shout out to the guy that was on the podcast with Manziel being transparent, Ocho, Shannon Sharp, and the guys that are on the podcast with them, Shady McCoy. All of these guys are transparent. And we're going to hear from one guy today that it was surprising. He did a good review regarding Shedeur Sanders, Chase Daniels. Now, remember when Chase Daniels was on the facility, what is it that I said that he agreed with that shocked me? When the facility was still on, I used to watch it on YouTube. I think it might have been on Fox. Before it got yanked off the air, and I felt like the reason it did get taken down is because they were the ones that were pro Shedeur. They lied to us about Shedeur. And to hear Chase Daniels say that, I was shocked, because I also heard Chase Daniels say before the draft that Jackson Dart is going to sneak up into the first round. And I said, if he's sneaking, if he good, why is he sneaking? So he was pro Jackson Dart, but even he joined in with the rest of the co-hosts, James, Shady, and Emmanuel, and said what? They lied to us about Shedeur, and they show disappeared. So now everybody's on their respective podcasts, and we get ready to listen to Chase Daniels do a breakdown of a bit of the game. He's getting ready to tell you something you heard me say about the Ravens defense as it pertains to Dylan and as it pertains to Shedeur. And he used, interestingly enough, I said Raven defense. He used the defensive coordinator's name, Zach Orr. Did y'all not hear me say, if you were in the virtual hangout or you watched the virtual hangout after that game, that watch the defensive coordinator who's black for the Ravens, watch he get fired. So stay tuned. So check this out. Now, Osakin, Deion Sanders Jr. reposted the long form analysis by Chase, and people was like, why are you posting him? Because he be hating on Shedeur. He said, I know, but just he did a good job. So this is a snippet of that good job. So let's take a listen. This is good, actually, because I said it. So I like when I find people that are in the industry. They played football because Chase used to play. I think he was a backup quarterback. So the fact that he did this analysis and this is his assessment, and I said it, and I never played football, and Osaken agreed with this video. All right.
About what I expected. I mean, look, people that have never played the position of backup quarterback, not quarterback, will never know how insanely difficult it is to come into a game ice cold with getting no reps on the season at all. And you go in there and you play this defense from Zach Orr for the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, literally, Zach Orr called the most insane pressure packages on third down for Shedeur. He didn't do it, Dylan. As soon as Shedeur got into the game, I mean, like, I played for 20 years at all levels, right? 14 years in the NFL. And I'm looking at this and I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, double A gap mug. Like, how would I protect? And it's Shedeur has to do it on the run. And it's just, he literally did that on purpose. He's like, hey, you got a rookie quarterback. He knows how the game is played. And that is the biggest misconception of backup quarterbacks. Like, for every team I've been.
All right, now I don't care about the rest. Let's shout out to Chase. He did a good job. What did you hear him say? That Zach Orr called the most intense defensive pressure packages when Shedeur got in, but he didn't do it for Dylan. And Chase is like, well, he's probably thinking, hey, you got this rookie quarterback. They're both rookies. But do you see how manipulated the game is against certain people? What did I say? We were live. I said it's crazy. When we were in the first half of the game, I said the leading tackler for the Ravens only got 2 tackles. What we doing? And they relaxed it. I said, oh, they relaxed in the defense for Dylan. Now, we didn't know Shedeur was getting in at this point. We just saw that they were relaxing the defense for Dylan. And then when Shedeur got in, they went 150 miles an hour. And now you hear somebody who is a former backup in the NFL, who also analyzes film, say they've never seen anything like that. That how could he even manage to, keep going? Now, here's the most crucial part. He did this on what down? Third down. And what down is it? Shedeur got sacked multiple times. Third down. And who blew that coverage? Number 55. So it gives the impression that the Ravens were working to handle it, but to set Shedeur up to look incompetent as a QB so he could stay behind Dylan. And I said, Dylan going to have to get knocked out first before they put Shedeur in. And that's supposedly what happened. Now, understand this. You heard him say the defensive coordinator's name, Zach Orr. I didn't use his name. He's black. So you got a black defensive coordinator that you just pitted against a black rookie quarterback to help out Dylan and not your own team. And people going to want to deny it, but you just heard Chase say it. And it was on third down. And I said it before. Shedeur got sacked on third down so they could disrupt the drive. And that's also at the same time that 55 intentionally blew his coverages when he was out here blocking and tackling for Dylan. So you got the Browns O-lineman setting Shedeur up, and you have the Ravens defense protecting Dylan, but going full steam ahead on Shedeur to make him look bad. At the same time, the Browns O-lineman blow coverages against Shedeur, but protect for Dylan. So the Ravens and the Browns were working together. Now notice, he mentioned Zach Orr, the defensive coordinator. Nobody has ever said what it is the Browns O-line was doing. You know what the excuse is? They're incompetent. There's not this much incompetence in the world. And when there's no incompetence, but highly skilled in the first half, and nobody knows Shedeur is coming out supposedly, but then when it gets to the second half, it's selective. And it's happening, the selective coverage, blowing your coverage for Shedeur on third down at the same time that the Ravens are selective about defending Shedeur and choosing to relax on Dylan. What the hell does that look like? It looks like before these games take place that they already knew Shedeur was going to play. And they already either telepathed to Zach Orr, but you're not going to tell me it's a coincidence for Zach Orr to call intense third down pressures, and then the offense for the Browns blow their coverage on those same defensive plays. And it don't happen to Dylan, but it happened to Shedeur. That's corruption. When I say how far is Kevin Stefanski willing to go, whose idea was it to enlist Zach Orr and his defensive players to protect Dylan? They didn't do that coincidentally. They don't know Shedeur. But it was so obvious that other people talked about it, and Chase decided to analyze it and be transparent about it. And I said it first. Live during the game. They hadn't even done their analysis yet. Never played football because it's that obvious. So if I know, and I never played football, and Chase can confirm, and other people came before Chase talked about this and said, yeah, they saw it. They made it obvious. Was it a message? We gonna block for Dylan, but not for you. And even the other team with a black defensive coordinator gonna come at you. I know what I heard some people say. Oh, they did that to Shedeur because he didn't want to go to Baltimore. Okay, so you work with the offensive players, number 55 and 77. You told him you was going to run intense pressure on third down, and that's exactly where they were supposed to blow their coverage. What the hell they got to do with Shedeur not going to Baltimore? And that's some bullshit. It's just another excuse to justify mistreating Shedeur, making him look bad. And that's what people are worried about for this game, because if you go coordinate the Browns offensive line to set Shedeur up with the Ravens or the other opposing team or the Raiders defense at the same time, y'all working together to take down Shedeur but protecting Dylan, y'all get what y'all deserve. Y'all get whatever you get. That's a lie. That's corruption. And it should tell you that it's at the highest levels and that it's a lot of people against Shedeur. And what did I say when I started this podcast? That all these people do is sit down and plot against Shedeur this year. That's it. That's all they do. It's just plot against him to hold him back. Two teams working together to hold back one black quarterback. Why would the Ravens be invested in it? They supposed to be trying to help Lamar win by defense doing their job. So they going against their own team and their own fans to help Dylan. That's extreme. And that should show you what they're capable of. And this is what people are worried about. And this is what Cam Newton said when he said every time Shedeur step on his field, it's going to be like the Rams game. It's going to be like this last game. They don't want him to win. So they're going to make sure he doesn't, even if it involves orchestrating his takedown with the other team's defense players, defensive coordinators. That's where we are. So shout out to Chase for doing that. I think this one of these analysis that he did. Go look at the full length one. I believe this was one of the reasons Deion Sanders Jr. retweeted this and said that he did a good job. He didn't tell us why he said it. People were shocked that he co-signed this, but when you listen to the full length and you listen to this is why he co-signed it. This is why. It's that bad when somebody like Chase that used to always hate on Shedeur is coming out and telling the truth. It's that bad when somebody like Cam Newton, who was hating on Shedeur, come out and be transparent and tell the truth. You see? Next, Dylan gonna be out here stomping for him. And that's gonna be a miracle. Too bad it ain't Stefanski though, and Haslam. So that's that on that one. Let me know y'all's thoughts about that, right? And I know several of y'all told me y'all saw it. The defense relaxed for Baltimore, and you saw that 55 blew his coverage. I say 77 did too, but that's at a different time. So That's what Shedeur is up against. His own team working with the other team to take him down and to prop up Dylan. You would think Dylan was good. And that should tell you that's not even why they're doing it. It's more about holding Shedeur back than it is helping Dylan to look good. So that's that on that one. All right, so let's get to Shedeur. When he was in his press conference today, they were asking him about the critics and, you know, what does he listen to this type of thing? And, you know, Shedeur is not bothered by these people.
For sure, I'm my own biggest critic, you know, so in certain situations in the game, even in that fourth down of that last game, I wish I would have just extended the play, you know. So mind you, I don't listen to critics. I don't listen to anybody has to say that's not within the organization, not within the team, not within the family or anything, because it's like everybody have their own perspectives, but they're not out there doing it, you know. So, or they done it in their past life and their time has passed. So I'm just thankful that I'm living in the present. Now I have the opportunity to go out there and do the best I can. Will there be mistakes? Of course. But it wouldn't be as many mistakes, you know. We're trying to minimize those most possible.
So there you go. So basically, Shedeur is, you know, letting people know he's his own critic. He expects to do good. You know, he's not perfect. And they going to expect him to be perfect. And they're going to highlight every mistake he makes. But they're quiet about his house getting broken into. Again, they all parenting the same thing. Some type of disparity against this young man. But crickets when his house gets broken into. And when the prank happened during the draft, they were the first ones to dismiss what happened to Shedeur and say, oh, it happened to Mason Graham. I'm like, not by these two right here. Not by these people right here on this camera. Not from that phone. That phone didn't call nobody else. And they immediately disconnected that phone. This is what I mean by when you look at everything that has happened on this young man's journey, that's over 100 people plotting between the 32 owners, the commissioner. I'm worried about your pops. That's premeditated. The NFL insiders and telling Mel Kiper Jr. before the combine. We don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur. Then you take the whole New York Giants coaching staff and GM and throw in his daughter and throw in the Mannings too while you at it. Because they are instrumental and influential in every goddamn team. The Saints, the Giants, and the Cleveland Browns that set this young man up. And I don't give a damn if you want to get Jackson Dart or Arch Manning. That's on you. But they ain't better than Shedeur because you have a preference, because you don't want a black quarterback, and that's the problem. Because we don't want a black quarterback, we absolutely must devalue you. That's corruption and that's racketeering. It's disgusting. You ain't have to draft him. But then you don't want him to go off to Canada and 6 million people go with him. Or you don't want him and his father and his brother to start their own league. You want them to all be sitting somewhere in a corner crying together because you kicked Shiloh out, because they tried to take Coach Prime program and kick him out, and because they want to kick Shedeur out, but since they stuck on stupid, they can't. That's God. Showing you that you ain't in control, but they refuse to listen. So let's see what extremes they go to hold this young man back. Or is 13 black quarterbacks sufficient enough for them to stop trying to hold him back? Or does Jackson Dart have to be rookie of the year for Shedeur to get an opportunity? Or can Shedeur never get an opportunity because he's so elite, he going to make Dylan look like trash, and then all of the people that's plotting on him in Cleveland, which is everybody that worked there, including the girl that they got on the payroll running around behind him, telling him, oh, it's my job to keep you out of trouble. They bullying him. But he's risen above it. But it's time for somebody to do something about it. And it's still fire Kevin Stefanski. And now it's fire Haslam. He should be forced to sell his team for allowing this racism to fester. He gonna learn. All right, so that's Shedeur. He's doing well. I actually like it. Now let me get to this clip that I have about Coach Prime and Colorado's program, and a statement that was made by, surprisingly, the Big 12 GM. So, you know, the Big 12 is a conference that Colorado was in, right? And they were doing a story about Colorado, and they got on the subject. They got on the subject of what was it? They got on the subject of the transfer portal. And essentially what was said was that, and this is by the Big 12 GM, the person over the whole conference. It's 16 schools in the Big 12. So talking about the transfer portal, they said, and they were talking about Colorado, if players can't be developed with all of the resources at Alabama and another school like Georgia, Alabama, why would they hop in the portal and come to Colorado? Come over here. I'm like, excuse me? So are you essentially saying that because they have all of the resources in either the Big 12 or Colorado, but the story was about Colorado, so let's go to Colorado. All the resources that they have at Georgia and Alabama, there's no point in coming to Colorado, because if you can't develop over there with all of those resources, how are you going to develop at Colorado? I say, have y'all lost your mind? That is totally dismissing Coach Prime's ability to develop players. They are essentially saying, if they can't help you at Georgia and Alabama, don't hop in the portal and come to Colorado. Now, how many schools in the Big 12? What are you talking about Colorado for? Is it because Coach Prime is the only Black coach in the Big 12 and they're trying to run him off? Because it came out that we lost some recruit from Colorado, flipped to Miami, and then it came out that we only have 11 commits for next year, and they're expected to lose 36 people in the portal. So we just losing people and hemorrhaging players. And when that happens, within 24 hours after that, you have the Big 12 GM, and somebody that works for him, in quotes, basically saying, stay over there because we don't have the resources and Coach Prime can't help you. That's what they're saying. And y'all don't believe that they trying to run him off. You know what I said to Coach Prime today? He was, thank you, Jesus. He put up his post. And I said, Coach Prime, if God should so choose to close this door at Colorado, because I see it, I don't need for the door to officially close it. I mean, come on now, right? I pray he opens the door at FAMU and stay there. I didn't say to stay there apart, but stay there. Because some people feel like go back to where you started, because they only came and got you to disrupt the success you had over there. And they didn't want you flipping Black players that look like you to come play for you to develop them, and for the NFL to want to draft them or to have to draft them. That's why they came and got him. And you see a concerted effort to boot him out. You know what there are people saying? There are people that are saying, I don't think he's going anywhere till his contract is up. I got news for you. They never expected him to be there until his contract was up. And if so, they're going to embarrass him from today forward, 2029. You want that? I don't even know if God would allow that, because stress is not good for somebody that already had cancer. So to me, now you have who? You have the Big 12 GM in a story about Colorado after losing recruit and Pat Schumer running off a future Black quarterback to Texas Tech and sabotaging Cater like they did Shedeur. And ain't no telling what's going to happen to Juju, but we're going to have to see. I'm going to be watching like this. Because, it's just like Stefanski is still continuing with this mental rep BS, but he could say Shedeur's name, right? I watched Pat Schumer say something to Juju, but that does not mean I'm not going to take you down. And that's the mistake that people make, because somebody is talking to you that they're not trying to take you down. That's called frenemies, but that's supposed to be his coach. I don't even know why he's still there. And when you got the GM coming out doing this after you losing recruits and people talking about this, that, and the other, they are basically trying to drain your program of talent so that you can lose, so that when them players like Juju can't hop in the portal because they think everything will be okay, when that portal closes, when you get to that third game next year, you're going to be gone. And them kids going to be stuck. That's why that last game was pivotal. That is probably why Marshall Faulk is gone. And the kids need to pay attention to that. Now, if you feel like you're following God and God tell you to stay there, okay. And I would imagine, hopefully, if it happens, what I just described, that Coach Prime can make sure Juju gets somewhere and not be left behind for CU to discard. Because that's where we at. So, yeah, it's crazy out here, right? For those types of things to be said about Coach Prime's program. And mind you, there are 16 schools. Why you didn't say that about Arizona State? Why you didn't say that about Iowa State? Why you didn't say that about Baylor? Hell, why you didn't say it about Texas Tech? Why Texas Tech out here paying people $5 million? Why you didn't say it about them? Because they got more than $5 million at Georgia. So why you didn't say that in a story about Texas Tech? It had to be a story about Coach Prime in Colorado when they're losing players. If that ain't dirty and nasty work by your own conference, and y'all don't think they're going to run him off, personally, I think they are intentionally not letting on because they want to embarrass him like they did Herm Edwards. Because who does that? 16 schools, and they say this in a story about Colorado. That's ignorance. I was trying to see if I could find it and share that with y'all because, again, that's ignorance. And that's what Coach Prime got to deal with. And to be honest with you, I don't think it's worth it. I think if they can find $44 million and send you on your way, and you have the ability to coach at FAMU, I think you should do it. Because it shows them y'all not stopping nothing. Because since he left Jackson State, look at who's all in the HBCUs. Jackson State is doing well. They just got Marshall Faulk. They thinking about Ed Reed should go to Grambling. Then you got Michael Vick. And then you have Deshaun Jackson. And if Coach Prime come back, that's a force to reckon with for recruits. Because, see, when Coach Prime was there, it was just Jackson State. But now, you're going to have all them kids. Oh, I could go here, 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 and here. And Delaware State is getting new facilities. So, you know, I think that's what should happen. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but, you know, that's letting them know that y'all not stopping nothing. Even though y'all trying, y'all not stopping nothing. I don't see it, the story. I know a lot of people were starting to like it, but if I find it, I'll just maybe post the contents of what I said later because I was like, are you serious right now? But yeah, that's what they're doing. And if people don't pick up on what they're doing to Coach Prime, I mean, I don't know what to tell you about your own personal life if you don't see the slaughter coming. But yeah, that's what they're doing to Coach Prime program. They basically trying to say, ain't no point in you coming to Colorado. So yeah, they trying to deplete the program. So we're going to see what their game looks like on. Is this it right here? This is it right here. All right. This is it right here. This is the story. I think, yeah, this is the story right here. It said, interesting comment here from a Big 12 general manager ahead of the transfer portal, which is opening in January. And also, I think players are getting ready to commit too. I think, don't they have like a signing day or something like that in November, right before Thanksgiving? So this is what you say before kids are getting ready to commit to Colorado. It's not just about the transfer portal. We have a commitment window getting ready to open because Juju committed about this time last year, right around Thanksgiving, before Thanksgiving. It said in the story about Colorado, this is what they say. If a player can't develop at a place like Alabama or Georgia, where they have every resource, why are they going to come here and be any better or different? You should be fired for that. Your job is to attract talent, not run the talent off. So if you don't believe me, if I said Schumer was running talent off, this right here proves it. This is somebody else running the talent off. You see what I'm saying? They just not letting on that they running Coach Prime off. Wouldn't surprise me if they already got that $44 million. And what they're also saying is, we're not giving them the money and don't ask for nothing. So they're letting these kids know Colorado don't have that kind of resources. So you might as well go over there to Georgia and Alabama. So you don't want Colorado to be able to compete with the likes of Alabama and Georgia. But you paid Coach Prime on the level of Alabama and Georgia coaches. That's going to be the next conversation. Just like they said about Shedeur, his value was too high for the first round. In other words, he wasn't worth it as a first round QB. Then Coach Prime not going to be worth the money. And then he might have to end up fighting for his buyout. I'm pretty sure he sees what's going on. He just ain't going to let on. Because you notice they don't let on. And that's okay. That's okay. But, you know, heads up. So, yeah. It said if you take a look at a lot of guys they brought in Colorado, there wasn't a ton of production. Now, we just had the Heisman winner last year. We also have 2 players with the jersey retired, and don't be surprised if when Coach Prime gone, they take that down. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. It said a Big 12 general manager said they took a bunch of Power 4 big names, big recruiting star guys, and they put them in with the expectation that they were going to have big jumps. Where were they jumping to? And they just didn't. They talking about Colorado. This story is about Colorado. We just had a Heisman winner, and Shedeur got one of the most anticipated games get ready to happen. And when he not being set up by his coach and 2 members of his O-line on the right side, or the whole 3 that was facing the damn stands, when he telling them this dude is going to blitz me from the left, they turn to the right. If that ain't sabotage, I don't know what it is. Supposed to get along with that. They don't want to get along. And now it's happening over here in Colorado in your face, because it was already happening behind the scenes. Now they bold with it. Before commitment day, which got to be in about a week or so, or at least the next 3 weeks, it's coming. These kids get to decide where they're going to go. And this is what they say about Colorado, even though we had Travis and Shedeur and 14 to 15 players between Canada and the NFL get invites or whatever. And the entire wide receiver crew is in the NFL. And this is what they say about Colorado. This is the Big 12 commission. You tell me, not commissioner, GM, you tell me this ain't dirty. This is dirty, bro. They putting out hit pieces on one of their own programs. It's no different than Cleveland taking down their own quarterback. And it's happening to Coach Prime and Shedeur at the same time. And I said a couple of weeks ago, I went and looked at the schedule to see when Coach Prime season ended and when Shedeur was supposedly expected to play the last 4 games, to see if they were going to try to cut both of them off at the same time. Now, Shedeur just got robbed. Supposedly, they didn't get his jewelry. I don't think they got nothing else, but they went there for something. His devices. Why? Because just like I'm making up stuff to kill the program, I'm looking for something to use to kick him out. After he got robbed, Stefanski says what? Shedeur can play. I mean, Shedeur's ready. Oh, he ready now. Oh, okay. Okay. It said another Big 12 personnel staffer. So not just the GM, but another person. A staffer. We say it all the time at our place. Don't know what the hell that is. If a player can't develop at a place like Alabama or Georgia, where they have every resource, why are they going to come here and be any better or different? This is propaganda to run off Coach Prime's players, to dismiss his ability to develop players. Totally dismissed the class last year. It wasn't just Travis and Shedeur. The man had 2 top 10 Heisman candidates. He would have had 2 top 5, but they cheated Shedeur with Dylan like they cheated Shedeur with Dylan in the NFL. These are not coincidences here. The Big 12 is actually, and I need to find the right word because the one I'm thinking it is not the right word. Pimping itself, I don't know. Out, devaluing itself just to take a dig at Coach Prime and run off his commits. Oh, ain't no point coming here. I have never. Just like I've never seen the opponent team, the Ravens defense and the coordinator try to take out a quarterback, a rookie, but prop up one of the other rookies and they on the same team. I've never seen anything like that. That's how extreme they are willing to go. I don't think the fans gonna let them get rid of Shedeur. I think that's why they can't. I think that's one of the reasons. So here you see it. You see it firsthand. This story about Colorado, how they saying don't come here because if you can't make it at Alabama and Georgia, ain't no point coming here. Dismissing Coach Prime ability to develop players, dismissing all the players that got invited to the NFL. They are basically saying, yeah, ain't no point coming here because we don't have the resources and we ain't getting them before signing day. Now that's dirty. That's dirty. So I'm gonna hop over here and see what y'all have to say about all of this. Because you know, that's dirty. So they kick Shiloh out. You know, they keep trying. They trying to get Shedeur. And since they couldn't get him doing nothing on the field, right? Understand when they took him out of that 2-minute drill, they wanted him to be upset and throw his helmet and pitch a fit. But that's not his character. They're not even willing to get to know his character to figure out how to kick him out. They just applying some generic behavior, you know, that the tactic that they think will work on anybody. Because he should be frustrated, and he was. But did he let it show? Did he throw his helmet? No, he didn't pitch a fit. But that's what they wanted. Because if he would have did what Myles Garrett did, he would be gone. They already saying he a distraction when he's not. He's black, and they don't want no black quarterback. So I'm going to label you a distraction, just like I labeled you a 5th-round QB, and you're not. It's just I don't want with you. I don't want to win with you. So when Troy Aikman said they have a franchise QB or a promising QB riding on the bench, that's exactly what they were doing. And did they budge? No. But recently, they decided to budge. Flip the script. You think it was because of what Cam Newton said? No, because they didn't budge after what Troy Aikman said. Stefanski is a legal liability. Legal has entered the chat. So that's crazy, right? That's just crazy. So that was a lot. So I want to see what y'all are saying. And I did ask a question. Name one quarterback who was a backup who got the job to start and they remained the starter for their career. They never went back to backup status. They won the job, basically. All right, so let's see. Divine intervention. Okay, so divine intervention has the symbolism. I actually have, I was going to share that with y'all. I still might. Somebody put together the symbolism that Shedeur's number 12, and this is the 12th week of football. 12 times 12 is 144. That's why I use the post on the thumbnail. And so a lot of people that believe in symbolism and understand its influence and the reality of it are actually celebrating by pointing out that it's divine intervention for Shedeur Sanders to be number 12, to start in the 12th week, which is the number he was pushed down to in the draft, 144. Shedeur's jersey number, the Raiders game, the 12th week official NFL game start. Won't he do it? I totally agree. Won't he do it? It said, let's get some praise. Yep. See, people are celebrating in various ways, and including symbolism about Shedeur. Grand evening, Crowley. Hey, Pamela, how you doing? Gail Billups, how you doing? Do me a favor, hit the like button. There are 254 of us. I'm getting ready. If you're new, I'm getting ready to go through the comments. We're almost at 5,700. Let's see if I can get there by Friday. I'm at like 5682, somewhere in there. So please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 6,000 by Christmas. No, is that 6,000 by Christmas Eve? So that's my Christmas present. So please subscribe to the channel and get me to 5,700. And then I'm going to do everything I can to get from 5,700 to 6,000, which is, quite a bit. 300 people before Christmas Eve. So, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Thank you so much. And don't forget, if you're new to the channel, go shop at whatshesaidsports.com and check out the What She Said Sports Drip and elevate your game every day or game day. All right. So let's go going through the comments, because I know y'all have some thoughts about what's being said. I don't think a lot of people knew about that Big 12 article. Shout out to the guy who shared it, because that's great, right? To put that out there about his program. That should tell you they're working together to kill his program. You should have no doubt about why he said, just give me a little bit more time. I told y'all, it's almost like they gave him a 2-game notice that if he don't win, that's it. So now, you know, when him saying that, was it yesterday or day before, they come right behind him 24 hours later. Ain't no point in coming here. After they done ran off the people he have, the prospects that he had, and it's almost signing day. They trying to kill the program, and they haven't even announced a new athletic director yet. Remember, boosters come up with the money to buy people out. And they could make him a lame duck, and he would hate that, right? That would be no different than Shedeur being on the sidelines behind Dylan. Same thing, to embarrass and humiliate. Okay. Hey, 420, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It said politics, always a setup. Always a setup. Hey, Gail, how you doing? Hey, Sharon, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I saw y'all in the comments today. Shout out to y'all. A lot of comments, and I did respond to them. Thank y'all so much. Hey, Tina, how you doing? Hit the like button. Thank you so much for holding it down. Ace, I appreciate you. Isaiah, welcome back. Welcome back. I just hope that they don't call bad plays in the O-line blocks. I mean, I feel like you should expect it. I feel like you should expect it. And the only reason it doesn't is because there's only 13 black quarterbacks now, but I don't think that's enough. I think they're trying to get to 10, right? You know, so you would think, you know, 17 to 32, how many? They 4 away from that. So you would think that you would let that be, but I don't think they just don't want Shedeur to ball out, because look at all of they keep calling it hype. It's not hype, it's interest. Look at all the interest that people have, the excitement that people have for this game. They're both 2-8, 2 bottom teams. People are excited to watch like it's the Super Bowl type energy. They don't want that. They wanted the Manning kid to bring that. Here's the thing, right? You better love who love you. That's what you better do. Because that's essentially saying, I appreciate you love me, but I don't want you to love me. I want you to love me, and that person don't love you. You can't make nobody love you. You couldn't make the Manning kid come out of school this year, and his performance said it ain't happening, right? And you would think that this is where I start to embrace Shedeur so I can satisfy my fans. But if it were up to Stefanski, if it wasn't for legal, he would still be in it. Because he didn't care what Troy Aikman said. Haslam didn't care what Troy Aikman said. The commissioner didn't care. The NFL players, nobody cared. Nobody cared. But when the fans start selling tickets, oh, I care. Yeah, because next they're going to be boycotting Bud Light. So you better care. When Kevin Stefanski makes himself a legal liability and everybody starts to echo, Shedeur got one hell of a case. I'm like, yep, sure does. Then he wants to change his tune. But then the kid get robbed. So it's almost like the conversation was, God damn it, we're going to have to play him. Y'all need to find something on him. See what you can do to get him out. Because saying he a distraction ain't enough. So we got to find something concrete. That's what it gave. That's what it was given. That's frustration. Yep. It said 420. How you doing? How you doing? It said your show was on fire this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Awesome show. Thank you, Crowley. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I see and hear you indeed. It said his handprint is all over this. Right. They trying to expel a person from the league that God has ordained. This is your path. I mean, you tried to make him an undrafted free agent, and you were forced to draft him by one of the most unlikely sources ever. And you can't get rid of him. So now you need to find some dirt. And Coach Prime better be careful, because they look for dirt on him too. Because they don't want to pay him the $44 million. Because they say they ain't got it. So he better be careful. You stick with Carucci. Keep your head on the swivel. Hey, Amber, how you doing? Haters mad right now. Straight mad. Straight mad. Hey, Saeed, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Isaiah. Hey y'all, how you doing? How you doing? DJ, how you doing? It says to do a break in the internet. Right. His song going through the roof. And the remix, I didn't know the remix was on Spotify. I spin to the remix. I was listening to it on YouTube, but now it's on Spotify. So it must maybe it's on Apple too. So he have both versions out there. They probably both going crazy. The remix gonna be going crazy in the dance clubs in Vegas, right? So it said one of these young men had on Vans shoes. Those are white kids' shoes. My kids used to wear Vans. It said my teenage grandson's white friends wear Vans. My kids are black, 2 black parents, and they wore Vans too. But I know what you're saying. And I didn't see the Vans. And people had me looking at the picture of the kids that was behind Haslam. I saw Adidas on one kid. The other kid, I saw the back of his shoe, but it wasn't given Balenciaga. So either the thieves are, like I said, they're either boosters that somebody hired because they needed somebody to do it. And I know people like boosters don't rob houses. I know that. But if you need somebody to steal and you don't have a whole lot of people to tap into that you could trust and go around and hire somebody to steal, you'll take whatever booster you can get. It don't matter. Retail or burglar, it don't matter. I got to get what I can get. And timing matters. The timing is crucial because he get ready to take that field as a starter and they don't want that. That's why I'm like, don't eat, don't go to nobody's house, stay to yourself, hang out with your family. And his family need to come down early and be with him. Because understand, if I did all of this before you got to QB1 to hold you back from QB1 and you made it, there's still time. So I would suggest that they keep tabs on him real tight. He no new friends, don't trust nobody. Watch what you do. I'm glad he moved. People say he moved to another property, keep that secret, and send Florida to go get the dry cleaning. Don't let them deliver. That's how it went down. But he can't change or control what happened in the draft when they gave out his phone number and lied about it. He can't control if them kids have on Balenciagas because maybe it's one of the senior vice president's kids and they got into his laptop and that's the excuse they're going to tell us. And they rich, and that's why they wearing Balenciagas, either boosters or I'm rich, right? So, and you think those kids wouldn't have ransacked his bedroom and left it like they did, right? They wouldn't have cared about the nightstand. They would have went straight for the stuff in the closet because that's young people, right? All the material stuff. They probably would have been happy to have it and took the jersey to school and all that kind of stuff. I don't think they did none of that. So, I'm gonna leave that theory out there that it's somebody that works for the Browns kids and they got into their parents' laptop like the other college kid did, and that's what happened with that. Not that it totally makes sense, but it's an inside job nonetheless. That's the point. There's no getting away from that. And because he's getting ready to emerge as QB1, and they just suddenly decided to start him, and then they rob him while he gets the second half start of his career, right? And now he get ready to have a whole game. And a lot of people don't like that he's getting all of this attention. It's eating certain people alive. Bailey Zapp not getting first team reps. I'm like, here's the thing, right? We don't care if Bailey Zapp gets first team reps. I really don't. Because he should be ready. And I understand why they're not giving him first team reps because they don't want to move off of their process, but they forgot. It's documented that ain't their process. Their process is giving QB3 and QB2 Dylan first team reps, rewarding him in front of Shedeur, who Shedeur is better than. All of that was to piss Shedeur off, humiliate him, and make him go home and cry. Justin Fields admitted he went in his closet and cried. That's what they want Shedeur to do. And I want to tell Justin Fields, if you ever see this, I understand vulnerability and transparency. Don't tell them nothing like that. Don't tell them nothing like that. They just gonna use it to keep digging. So Shedeur's going about it the right way. I'm not phased. I'm ready to play. I know I'm him. They even said it. Well, Shedeur was really confident that he's him for the start. I'm like, so what, you want him to be timid? That's what he's supposed to say. He also said, I know I'm supposed, I gotta win games first because they asking him, can he choose personnel? He said, I gotta win games first. Very realistic. That's not what they want, though. And it's not that they can't relate to Shedeur because he's black and he's black. They don't like Shedeur because he's black and he's not moving off of his blackness. So they withhold it. That's cruelty. So shout out to Blessed about the shoes. Yeah, I didn't see no Vans on nobody's feet. I just saw Adidas and some other shoe that I couldn't identify. It said they want to control everything black. That's it. And they don't even want you to believe in God. That's the crazy part. Look at how incensed they get when whether Shedeur mentions God or Justin Fields or Travis gets baptized. And they underutilizing him after he decided to turn his life over to the Lord. I'm like, and the reason why they act like that is they want to be able to control you. And if you believe in God, then they are not in supreme control of you. What do you need to control me for? We play football. I have off days. I can do what I want. Look at how upset they were that Travis got baptized early Sunday morning. It's probably a lot of players out here that go to church on Sunday morning when they don't play a game till 1. Why is it your business? I can do what I want in my off time, right? But see, they act like they can't, just like they have this involuntary period where you don't have to show up, but they try to coerce them and make them feel guilty for not showing up, even though it's not mandatory. They tried it with Myles Garrett. Somebody found a picture of him in Japan. It was like, we need you to get back, talking about fans. I said, it's not mandatory. Leave him alone. Miss Maxie, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It said, I'm done windmilling. Yeah, facts. Facts. It said, now we see that Barry pulled the little joker on Stefanski. Trading Flacco was the catalyst. I guess. I guess. I don't really know about that one, but I'm going to go with that until I find out it was premeditated. But then they turn around and copy Black Swag. Right. They don't want Shedeur in his blackness, but they want to celebrate his blackness on Dart. So they want to abuse him for celebrating himself. But they want to celebrate Dart and call it something else, but it's the same thing. That's wicked. That's crazy. It's funny how God made Stefanski tell on himself, right? That shocked me. That shocked me. It was like, just like Boomer Esiason told on the owners, and he had his chest stuck up. So Stefanski was thinking, oh yeah, he never even had first team reps. I'm doing something, ha ha ha. We're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And people just going in on him, saying that was a fireable offense. He should have been fired. Now he can say Shedeur's name. It's like he was trying to justify, well, I can't put him out here because he never had first team reps on offense. Wait till they find out he actually had first team reps on defense. That was his reward. But he's never worked hard enough at being rewarded with first team offense. But Dylan has. Dylan is not good. And they were willing to lose rather than give Shedeur first team reps and or put Shedeur on the field to play. He can only play if they're going to make him look bad. Because how many times have they tried it? Every game he's played in for the Browns. The Panthers, the Rams, the Ravens. And they tried to run with the narrative that he failed, but it was the fans, all decent fans, regardless of what team that's on social media that didn't like what they saw, spoke out. That was unexpected. They never expected their fans to boo Dylan. But that's the only way they can use their voice. So I don't have a problem with it. I don't. Because it's not like Dylan is not arrogant and taking digs at Shedeur. He get what he get. And you're not going to tell Karma what to do. So don't worry about it. It's that all eyes on Shedeur. These ratings will be off the chain. I'm telling you, this game is going to be like the Super Bowl. Everybody want to see. And it better be a fair game. It better be a fair game. Because people are already out here calling out the O-line. And they debating back and forth between each other whether it's incompetence or malfeasance. And it's corruption. That's what it is. And now that Chase Daniels put it out there about the Ravens and how they helped Dylan, but not Shedeur, and went in on Shedeur. Let me see tomorrow how they try to backpedal out of that. That is corruption, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Chase Daniels. The people that were against Shedeur, in my opinion, Chase Daniels and Cam, because y'all know we done talked about Cam, are speaking up. And people are hearing them because they're platforms. And people trust them because they play ball. And they are making sense of what people are wondering about. They're clarifying things. Yeah, this is what you saw. Yeah, the Ravens defense helped Dillon. Relaxed on Dillon and went 100% in on Shedeur. And Zachary Orr, the defensive coordinator, did it. I'm like, I told y'all, they're going to get him. Watch what I tell you. And that's his fault. Just like it's Andrew Berry's fault for setting up Shedeur. Somebody, Sharon, said, I was working and I missed the last part of the segment last night. I didn't get to hear the two things why the NFL is not fun anymore. Okay, I'm at the members thing because I can't say it out loud. I'm telling it. I think, Sharon, you remember, right? I'm putting it in the members live stream on Friday at 6 o'clock. Saeed, the deal is first start 12th week, his number 12. 12 times 12 is 144. Yes, we got it. He was 144. I told y'all people are celebrating the symbolism. That's good. I like that. Thank you. Thank you, Saeed. Flacco end up really liking Shedeur. Right. Another one. So Shedeur just, God out here converting hearts all over the place. And Cam Newton talked about, is this situation fixable? It is. It's just up to Stefanski not to be relatable to Shedeur, because that's a polite way. It's not to be racist towards Black quarterbacks, period, including Shedeur. So let's see if he choose not to set him up this time, because this will be the first game that he hasn't set him up. And with our eyes on Shedeur, if you crazy enough, he might get fired after this game if he do it, because it's gonna be obvious. It was obvious last time, right? And now that the voices that tried to say Shedeur failed are getting drowned out by the truth, I'm like, that ain't nobody but God. And if you don't believe Shedeur the way Shedeur is being used is letting you know, just wait on God, because you can't fight these battles by yourself. I mean, that's just what it is. That's why we say he's the chosen one. And they have already, Stefanski, Haslam, the NFL itself have already lost this battle. Okay, so Tom Brady is one of the quarterbacks that was a QB2, became a QB1, and never looked back. Okay, Miss Pamela said Brady. Amber said Dak Prescott. So who was the quarterback before Dak Prescott? Thank you, Amber. It said you have done an excellent job of the diabolical system. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to take my own crown. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Right? I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It said this upcoming game has a playoff feel. Can't wait to see the viewership numbers. Right. I agree with that. People say the Super Bowl. That's what it's given. So you're right about that. Cam Newton. Oh, okay. So was Cam Newton a QB2? And he became a QB1 and never looked back? Who was the quarterback before Cam Newton? Who was the quarterback before Dak Prescott? Russell Wilson. What? Who was the quarterback before Russell Wilson? I didn't know that. QB2. Tom Brady. Okay, got it. Russell Wilson. It seems like Aaron Rodgers. Yep, Aaron Rodgers. A few people know about Russell Wilson. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was a QB2. Took somebody's job or became QB1 and never looked back. That's very interesting. That's very interesting because they did not want him. That's very interesting. And see, I always talk about Lamar's journey being something Shedeur can learn from. But as we see things are beginning to change, as we now recognize that Chase Daniels was a staunch hater of Shedeur, is out here exposing what they did to Shedeur, right? Cam Newton, and then somebody in Cleveland, it could be Haslam, I don't know. Maybe not. It could be Stefanski. I don't really know. Maybe it's Tommy Reese. I don't know. Because Cam Newton seems to think that both Tommy Reese and Stefanski have the same problem. Now, Tommy Reese used to be Jalen Milroe's offensive coordinator, I think, at Alabama. So that's saying a lot, right? How was Jalen Milroe's experience? And for y'all that don't know, the Cleveland Browns interviewed Jalen Milroe once for their QB2 overall, but they settled on Shedeur. They interviewed with Cam, Milroe, and Shedeur, and the media was like, what are y'all doing? Y'all don't have no money. And they dismissed the other two and went with Shedeur, and then they, right before the draft, oh, we still got Deshaun. Well, guess what? You're going to have Deshaun next year when you use this first round pick to get a quarterback. So that tells you that that's just an excuse. So I don't know who's going to be converted next. Oh, Flacco. They end up being cool. Flacco, I'm telling you, I think I recall when Stefanski was setting up Shedeur in the Rams game, corruption. Flacco went over to him. And what happened to Tony when he gravitated towards Shedeur because they were bullying him? Tony got retaliated against and got dismissed. And I said, well, they ain't going to do nothing to Flacco. Flacco going over to Shedeur, they didn't do nothing. Y'all told me, because I didn't see it, that Flacco and Shedeur were inseparable in London. And then Flacco got booted out. Now, I said he did that. But then again, because when they traded him with a 6th round pick. And they got back better. They got back the 5th round pick that they expended for Shedeur. So it sounds like Flacco hanging out with Shedeur, they didn't like that. So they treated him like they did Tony. Now, they didn't trade Tony. They just cut his contract, but Tony's black. You see, Flacco got traded and devalued, but they didn't terminate his contract like they did Tony. So when you black, they just cut you all the way. But when you white and you do what they don't like you to do, like gravitate towards Shedeur, they just send you off somewhere and they expect you to be devalued. But you see, he went over there and started. So that was the right thing for him. I felt like he brokered his own deal out of here, though. But I knew it had something to do with Shedeur. We were saying it at our house. Just tell Dylan go hang out with Shedeur. I was like, what? It's like, think about it. Everybody that hang out with Shedeur get booted out. So tell Dylan go hang out with him and they'll get rid of him. I'm like, that's good. That's good. That's good. I like that. Dylan probably going to be the next one that we see walking up to Shedeur having a change of heart because he know he a little evil somebody. And that's why he's Stefanski's boy. Just like 55 and 77. Tom Brady, yes. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. Who is that? Oh, Drew Brees. Who was the quarterback before Drew Brees? Was it Aaron Brooks? Let me know who the quarterback was before Drew Brees. Dak Prescott, okay. It said, well, I don't know if Tony Romo came back. Okay, so Tony Romo was the quarterback before that. Shedeur, the blitz is coming, bro. Yeah. And you know he looking at film wherever he is. 100 people forgot to hit the like button. Please hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. I know the Browns colluded on Shedeur. However, I do think they even had the money. I do think they even had the money to pay any top player because of that money they gave Deshaun. They were not broke. They not paying Deshaun. See, that's the biggest ruse ever. People think, well, we didn't get Shedeur because we didn't have the money to pay Deshaun. No, that's not what they said. They said we took a big swing and missed with Deshaun. We got him, even though they didn't draft him. They traded for they didn't trade for him. That's quid pro quo. That's how they got that stated. They're not paying Deshaun. So the money they paid to Mason Graham, they could have paid to Shedeur. They don't want Shedeur. And what should make that clear for you is what? I got him for cheap, a deep discount, and I still don't want to get him ready to play for us, even if Dylan fall out. So they was just going to leave Dylan out there to get all banged up. They didn't care. But people don't even believe he hurt. So that opens another question of corruption and fraud. It also opens up questions about fraud for Deshaun. They keep Deshaun hurt, so he's not playing more than 10 games a year. They probably thought at one point they would do that to Shedeur, but it's too many people watching. And now, with this game being like the Super Bowl type energy, they might have to just let him play his game. It'll be interesting to see because, they go to extremes, but I think that's where the robbery coming at. It's only so much I could do on the field. It said Pickett, baby hands playing for the Raiders. What? So did they bench Geno Smith? Oh, that's crazy. It was people wanted it to be Geno Smith versus Shedeur. So did they officially make bench Geno Smith? Let me know. Thank you, Lisa. It said double tap the screen if you have a phone and support the channel. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. It said the haters been on a blitz today themselves. Yeah. That's true. I have to walk away from them. It said, I forgot baby hands play for them. Nicole. Yep, Pickett is over there. They are exploiting Sanders to make up for that loss. It said, Shedeur never had any first team reps. Almighty God made it come out. Yeah, it's crazy how they said that out loud. Haters big mad. Go get him, Shedeur. Facts. Tom Brady and Brock Purdy. Who was the quarterback before Brock Purdy? It said Giants did Shedeur wrong. The scouts and the head coach fired. Yep. I think they scapegoated the scouts because they fired them immediately. And it made it appear that they gave us misinformation about Shedeur. They just flat out lied about Shedeur. So it's like the head coach was spared. So they fired the scouts as if it was their fault. Now the head coach is fired. And supposedly the GM is on the hot seat. He should have been fired after Saquon Barkley. That's what happens when you allow racism to fester. Eventually, it catches up and catches everybody. And now they have to suffer another losing season. And who knows what it's going to look like next year. That's facts, Amber. I think that's what's happening. It said game tickets have increased by $200, now around $1,100 on the 50. Wow. Okay. You talking about the Raiders game? That's crazy. That I know Vegas gonna capitalize off of that. It said he will even make your enemies and haters to be at peace with you. Yes, and that's what we're starting to see, right? That's what we're starting to see with Cam. We're starting to see with Chase Daniels. We saw with Flacco. Who's next? Stefanski? Dylan? Why? Because Shedeur showed Dylan grace by asking for people, saying that, he don't want him to be uncomfortable. He better than me because I wouldn't have did it. But the Lord's still working on me. Shedeur is good. Shedeur is good. I'm willing to say he's better than me at this point because I wouldn't say shit about Dylan. He's a Shedeur, right? This young man is amazing, right? He's amazing because I know I've been on this earth longer than him. And if I see Stefanski at Costco, that me in that basket is going down. It's going down. And I didn't even want to watch Chase Daniels' video that Osakin, Deion Sanders Jr. said he did a good job. I'm like, I'm not watching that. So Shedeur better than me, damn it, because I don't care if they boo Dylan. That would make me feel good because he was mean. He was cruel. He put him down. But that's what it means to be Christ. That young man at 23 years old, to be like that and to be able to laugh and not be bothered, man, that's amazing at his age because it takes a lifetime to get there. It really does. It's not something that happens overnight. It just shows you that he's been through so much in a short period of time from the time he got to Colorado, right? Which is why they like Jackson State so much because they got to be themselves. But for year one, they over there booting their cars and stuff, right? And now look at how they acting and look at the NFL. 31 executives come out to the school, the first game for CU to make them believe that they believe in them. But no, they was just trying to, when they got to the part where he was devalued, kind of for him to believe, oh, it's your dad. That's ugly. To make a young man want to turn on his father and you lying. And see, they showed us they could lie because they lied on the Falcons and them people. They protected the Ole Miss people and threw the defensive coordinator for Atlanta and his son under the bus. When they knew for a fact that it was the New York Giants, and to this day have not corrected that story. And we looking at the video, and it's not the man's son with the black hair. It's the dude with the blonde hair in the Ole Miss, and they will not say out loud the connection to the Giants and the Mannings. They just like, and that's crazy how they willing to throw the other white people under the bus. What is it about these white people over here that you willing to protect and you willing to scapegoat these white people over here in Atlanta? So I said, don't be surprised if the defensive coordinator is the next person to become the head coach. That's his reward for them scapegoating him and his son. Because it wasn't them. Don't be surprised. And if they pass over him for the head coach job, he gonna learn not to let people use you. Hello. What do you think about what Stefanski said about reviewing tape every morning with Shedeur? I think, according to the players, Myles Garrett specifically was on the record in an interview with Sports Illustrated telling us that Shedeur goes to Stefanski every day. He goes to his office to ask him questions, to take the initiative, to make sure he's on top of things. This is Shedeur's doing. People are using that without clarity to make it seem like Stefanski's working with Shedeur. This is why I said legal has entered the chat. Because now you want us to think you don't have a problem with Shedeur, when the only reason we know you have a problem with Shedeur is you made sure to show us with your actions. You said we have to put him down and have him sacked 5 times. I'm pretty sure that's criminal. I'm pretty sure it's criminal to take one of your employees and try to get them hurt so they don't take the field. I'm pretty sure that's criminal. And the fact that you have done this and put him in situations where he could get hurt in the Panthers game, the Rams game, the Ravens game, let's see if you dumb enough, if you arrogant enough, if you're ignorant enough to do it in the Raiders game with everybody watching. But don't be surprised, because with everybody watching, Shedeur has never had first team reps. And he thought that was justification as to why he shouldn't play. And they stuck on stupid because they won't give Bailey Zapp first team reps because they want to justify not giving Shedeur first team reps. But they forgot, it's documented, Dylan had first team reps as QB2 and QB3, who was 2 quarterbacks away from playing. See, when I see people move like that, I see your weakness. You either forgot what you did or you think we stupid. And I'm going to hang on to that whole conversation about Dylan, regardless of how many times people want to talk about first team reps. Somebody said today, all right, we don't want to talk about first team reps no more. I'm like, oh, okay. So when Bailey Zapp is the QB2, y'all out here stomping, saying it's not fair that he doesn't get first team reps. When a quarterback is the QB1 is black, now he got to split the reps. But they have nothing to say when it was Dylan. And they knew, because people have asked over and over and over, when is Shedeur getting first team reps? And it just goes to show you the racist mentality that is just choking the life out of this league. So that's what I think happened. They try to use it to redeem Stefanski because Shedeur got one hell of a case against him for racial discrimination, and the organization too. It said Haslam don't want to see $6 tickets. Now that's facts. That's facts. I'm calling this the 2 legendary 12 disciple takeover. I like it. I'll take it. It said when Shedeur said I was slipping, I hollered. What? Do you see that every team that passed on 12 are having problems? Karma. Giants losing. Dabal Dart is out. Pittsburgh. Rodgers is out. Yep, Rodgers is out. He fractured what? His wrist or something? The Raiders, Geno is out. I had no idea that they benched Geno. When did they do that? Because yesterday he was saying blame me for everything. So that must have happened today. Geno out and his ex-teammate Pickett is in. So they're going to have Pickett play against Shedeur instead of Geno. Now, what does that tell you? Now, both these teams 2-8, right? Why would you take Geno out? Because it's 2 black quarterbacks. And everybody want to see it. And I don't get that. That's why I booted Geno out of Seattle so he could block Shedeur. So now he's going to play Shedeur? I don't want y'all to enjoy this. But we having fun with it. We having fun with it. So you can't tell us what to do. See, that's one thing about it. They can't control the fans. You keep trying to control these players, and the players need to understand something. People do what you allow. People do what you allow. Understand that. And don't allow it. So shout out to that, Lisa. You're right about that. It says, sorry, his house was broken into, but glad they did not get the Jews. I totally agree. I think that was great. It says Shedeur used to be cussing at CU. He sure did. Oh, that's right. He don't like them to cuss because Shiloh can cuss. And where has Shiloh been? I have not seen him drop another video. Stefanski knows he has to win now. Haslam loves the spotlight and the money. Okay. 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 It said the Browns are the most talked about team. Yup. They sure are because of Shedeur. And they keep calling it hype. It's not hype. People are interested in the team. And that's how you know they don't want people to be interested in the team because they'd rather use a word that has a negative connotation. Oh, it's a lot of hype around him. Like he hasn't proven anything. And every time Shedeur does do well, they act like they don't see it. This man's house got broken into. And the media who was obsessed with him about a speeding ticket had nothing to say. That's the part I can't ever let go because I feel like that's the biggest tell. Yeah, Cam was something else. It said God is exposing the heart of the internal infrastructure of the Browns and NFL. I totally agree with that. I totally agree. It says Shedeur about to put it on the Raiders. If the line plays inspired, it's over. Yes. It says Shedeur will find the open man. Right. And understand this. I don't think they looked at his college film, but those of us that know what he's capable of, he still was the best quarterback coming out of college with 2 years at Colorado with O-lines trying to sabotage him. The first time it was across the board. Then Jordan Seaton came, and then it was primarily to the right. So I think one of the reasons he's smiling is because he's been here before. It says Stefanski is a habitual liar. I totally agree. It said, do you think Pickett really messed up his hamstring? No, I don't believe it. I believe what you said makes more sense. No, I don't think. Okay, so Pickett was hurt. Dylan was hurt. The only time Shedeur get to play is when Dylan hurt. Dylan is magically hurt. Nobody knows when he got hurt. Stefanski ran off right after the game. Dylan coming back. And people like, you said he have a concussion. He can't come back that fast. And then the tune changed, right? Then y'all say Dylan was on the sideline and he got a call. So if Stefanski was on the sideline, was Tommy Reese on the sideline? So if those two were on the sideline, who called Dylan to tell him that he was coming out the game? Was it Haslam or was it the quarterback coach? Or was Tommy Reese somewhere else where he had to make a phone call, like the booth or whatever? Let me know what y'all know about that because I find that interesting that they called him and then the change was made. But it seemed like the Ravens kind of knew, right? The Ravens say they get ready for Shedeur. Now, how the hell they knew they was playing Shedeur? So that meant it was pre-planned. So if it was pre-planned and the Raiders knew they was getting ready for Shedeur, unless they knew they were just going to take Dylan out, but they didn't. I watched the highlights again today because I was looking for something. I did not see Dylan get sacked one time. Didn't Dylan get sacked like twice? Because that's how he got a concussion, right? That's interesting. They won't even put his sacks on the highlight reel for that game, but they put Shedeur's up there. That everybody is against this young man. And he did nothing. They just holding him down because he can elevate the game and because he's a black quarterback. And because he's not relinquishing his blackness. He will not say his name is Toby. He knows who he is. And that's the part that they don't like. And they don't want to say that part out loud. So sad. Kenny Pickett was the picket fence to block Shedeur. Right. The picket fence. That's hilarious. That's funny. Thank you, Nicole. Tina said, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes was back up. Okay. Tony Romo, Drew Brees, Steve Young were all backup QBs who later became QB1s. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Tina. Somebody else put the symbolism. I'm just going to share it on the screen because a lot of people starting to put it. So, yeah, we celebrate the symbolism. We do. They found another symbolism. Shedeur is the eighth backup quarterback to become a starter. New beginnings. Yeah, what is it? The numbers 8 and 5, which is 8 times 5 is 40, something like that. It said, can you put the link in the chat for Cam Newton's show? Let me see. The link in the chat for Cam Newton's show. Okay, let's see. That's not it. Let's see. I may have closed it out. I think I closed it out. Just go to YouTube if possible and just pull up Cam Newton. I think, let's see right fast if I can find it. That way I can share it with y'all. Oh, here it is right here. I can go back to it. I think they put it in the chat. So I'm just going to copy it from here. Copy link address and put it in the chat. All right. Shout out to whoever made that request. A lot of comments. Not gonna make them all. Not gonna make them all because we'll be up here all day. And that's good, right? That's a good problem to have because we're growing. But we go live twice a day now, so you know we can get to somebody. Okay, the link is in the chat for Cam's show. Let me put Cam so y'all can know what the link is for. Oh well, never mind. That's the link. It says Shedeur ain't gonna forget how Hamilton trolled him. Hamilton. It said next year. Kyle Hamilton. Next year, this Ravens game will be huge because Shedeur is going to want get back. It said the next rivalry is Ravens versus Browns. Right. And you know what? You see the way people are talking about this game? And I don't know if it makes a difference now that they put in Pickett. Maybe does it lose some of its excitement that is Pickett? I don't know. Because is Pickett good? I find that very interesting that Shedeur is getting ready to play his former teammate. So instead of being about two black quarterbacks, now it's about two former Browns players playing each other in Vegas. I don't know if it loses its luster or not because of Kenny Pickett, but I had no idea they made that change. I'm not surprised though. I'm not surprised. The excitement around the game before they made the change, because I know what everybody was talking about, is what was supposed to happen that they could have built up, but they didn't talk about was Shedeur. If the Ravens knew Shedeur was going to play, and seemingly they schemed for Shedeur, and the staff didn't, I don't think they just came up off the top of their head, because he got a different skill set from Dylan's. So that meant seemingly the Ravens possibly knew Shedeur was going to play, but Shedeur didn't, and they didn't want to say it out loud because then everybody would have wanted to see what was just described as the newest rivalry in the NFL. The Ravens versus the Browns, Lamar Jackson versus Shedeur. So they kept it on the low that Shedeur was going to play, which questions is Dylan really hurt? And nobody saw it. And his sacks are not on the NFL channel for highlights for the game. So that's interesting. It said this game for Shedeur is a blockbuster. Shedeur said that he's excited. You can see it. You can see he's ready to get out there. Did y'all hear what Shedeur said when he was asked at his press conference? I think he was alluding to, first time taking the field and playing, and he got settled in towards the end of the game. And you can see it. People say, man, when he's comfortable in the pocket, he is good. I'm like, it's crazy how people don't know that. But maybe everybody don't watch film, but he said it. Oh, this is what it is. So he knew when he got comfortable, and you could kind of see it, because at that point, I realized who not blocking for me. I'm telling you, the blitz coming this way, and the three of y'all line up and turn that way. On one play, Shedeur ran up the middle and got his own first down. And that's what he's going to be doing to get away from them. That's trying to set him up. Now we need the receivers to have hands like the Colorado Buffs did. But it shows you how elite those wide receivers were. We're going to see. I didn't show the clip with him practicing. Let me show that one. The clip with Shedeur practicing. I have that one. Let me show that one. I did want to share that. I also have a clip of the Raiders having fun at practice. We'll look at that second. Okay, this is Shedeur. So they close by each other. So I'll share it. So this is Shedeur at practice. I noticed he was throwing to a lot of tight ends. That means we probably gonna see some tight end play, and that's just always kind of traumatic sometimes. But Harold Fannin Jr. is good. I don't know the rest of the tight ends. I guess I need to look. Of course, Njoku's good. So this is Shedeur at practice. No sound, guys. No sound. I didn't put no sound. So that's Shedeur. I don't know who's the guy in the black hoodie. I'm gonna just let it play a couple times so we can get through who's who. I always see people talking to Shedeur on the field, That's seemingly or some kind of coach, but I don't know who they are. So this is Shedeur walking over. I saw him with Quishon Junkins. Who is number 11 behind him? Bailey Zapp. So Shedeur was out here. Bailey Zapp was out here. Dylan's not out there, I guess, because of the concussion protocol. The dude in the black shirt talking to Shedeur, is that Tommy Reese or is that someone else? Is the guy in the jacket, I think the older gentleman, I think he is the quarterback coach, because people said they thought Coach Prime knew him. So, and number 16, is that Tillman? Is that, I think Tillman, OC Tillman or something like that? He had a good play with him. Yeah, he had a good play with him. So that's Bailey Zapp, y'all. He's number 11. So Shedeur and Bailey out there. I would imagine Bailey's getting first team reps if he over there with Shedeur then, right? Again, I don't have a problem with Bailey Zapp getting first team reps. I have a problem with the inequitable treatment that's the fancy had going on, rewarding Dylan in Shedeur face and holding him back and withholding from him. That's the problem, because it's illegal. All right. I don't know who that is in the jacket. Those two people are over there that are watching, but he comfortable, right? And he said it. Once he got settled in, he was like, okay, I know what it is now. So he excited to get back out there and continue and pick up where he left off towards the end of the game with the pass to Gage. Now, I don't know who he's going to be throwing to. I think everybody, because that's what we saw before, right? He was throwing the ball around to everybody. So that's that. All right. So let me show y'all. Now, this is the Raiders at practice. Let me show them, because that's funny. Because they over there dancing and everything else. Remember how they used to be on Travis for dancing? Look, y'all, this is the Raiders right here. So they having themselves a good time. That's the coach. I don't know any of them. I'd have to watch. I guess they say quarterbacks. Geno Smith, number 7. Don't know who number 12 is. I think I see Kenny Pickett, number 15. Okay, I see Kenny Pickett. They just doing their little drills and stretches. So the quarterbacks are in the Jetty, that's Ashton Jetty, with the other running backs doing their thing. He's wearing number 2. I feel like they're going to lead on Ashton Jetty a lot. I feel like they're holding him back, right? Hold on one second. I feel like they're holding him back, but I think they're going to lean on him. One second. Okay. All right. So y'all probably had enough of the Raiders. Okay. I think that's it. All right. So as y'all can see, they was just doing their thing. Y'all said Max Crosby is still over there. All right. So he's still there. I thought he got traded. I don't know why I thought he got traded to Dallas. That's their coach. What is he, 75? Pete Carroll? He predicted they was going to win a lot of games, but they didn't. But, I don't know what this game going to be like. Honestly, I guess I have to watch these guys play. I started to watch them play, but then I got that post about Colorado. So I was like, well, let me go look into this. So I'll probably go back and start kind of see. I was following them from when the draft time, pre-draft, when I thought Shedeur was going there. So I still have some of those channels saved. So I'll probably just see what they're saying about the game that's coming up. And is there talk in Vegas, like enthusiasm in Vegas, like it is everywhere else for the Browns and Shedeur starting? So, yeah. So that's them. They just doing their thing. Number 13. Yeah, I don't know any of their players. Who is their best player? Does anybody know who their best player is? So that's where I can start. Who's their best player? All right, y'all. 270 bucks. We getting ready to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow at the middle of the day. So turn your notifications on. We'll be back tomorrow. Just with the latest Shedeur Sanders watch. Sounds like there's already been a change officially. Geno has been benched, so that means there's now 12 black starting quarterbacks. I told you, I think they're trying to get it to 10. I think they're trying to get it to 10, and next year they're gonna try to get it to 2. And that's why they didn't want Shedeur to come in at all, because I'm trying to get rid of black quarterbacks, and here you come, right? So if Geno Smith got pushed back and Pickett moves forward, people still excited about the game because they really want to see what Shedeur is going to do, right? So we'll just check back in tomorrow and then talk about what comes. But we'll be on a Shedeur Sanders watch. I'll probably see what's going on at Colorado because we haven't tapped in. I'm going to watch the game. I want to, but we're supposed to be watching the game Sunday. So that's like 8 hours. Then I got stuff to do. So I think I might have to sacrifice and watch a little bit of Colorado or just not be live. I'll probably just maybe live tweet about it since I know I'm going to be live on Sunday. But I want to watch the game because I'm hoping that Juju gets the opportunity to ball out. My expectations are is that the game plan is tailored to Juju's skill set from quarter one all the way to the end of the fourth quarter or overtime. That's the same expectation for Shedeur Sanders. All right. Not using Dylan's game plan, not using Ryan Staub's game plan, because that's what was happening at Colorado. All right. So I'm gone. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Have a good night. Don't forget to go shopping, whatshesaidsports.com. Use my code NOLAGIRL, all caps together at checkout. And members, check the members chat section for the members discount. Enjoy. Have a good night.